quotas, reparations, all mean one thing. Another qualified individual won't get a job or an education simply because he's not the right color.
What's up, fellas? It's your main man. Back on the scene with another video. There's a lot of people bitching about DEI, mostly white guys, because they feel that they're being discriminated against because they're a white male. It's not what you think. I think what really pisses people off is that they think black folks are getting all these jobs because of the color of their skin. And that stuff has never been true in the United States. If you think somebody black is getting something more than someone white, you have lost your mind. Because that is not happening in the United States of America. Let's check these folks out right here and see what they have to say.
DEI. And my thinking is I want what I say to you to just come out of my own life experience and my own opinions. I don't want to parrot somebody else's. I think it's useful to just get that unvarnished opinion about this. And that's what I did. And then I went back and I said, okay, now I'm going to look up some stuff and see if my opinion really needs to be modified, if I have to change my views in any way, because I think that's important. I would say for the most part, I haven't really fundamentally changed my views, but I wouldn't be talking to you again if what I found out didn't completely shock me. And I think it's kind of worthwhile to tell people what I found out, and I'm interested in what they think. I went into it thinking, okay.
I'm not shocked because I know the deal. I know programs, welfare, affirmative action, they put the black face on it so it can rile up the natives. But if you look at the real data, we didn't really get anything out of that. That's why I don't trip over DEI and all that stuff, because it doesn't do anything for us anyway.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? It's not a welfare program. It's not a handout. That was my opinion. You know, it's not like, well, you're really not qualified for this job, but we're going to hire you anyway because something. Diversity.
Right.
No, it's not that. It's basically saying.
That's the projection. Now, that's what people believe, but it's not true.
You know what? Qualified people come in every shape, size,
Sometimes.
color, religion, gender, age, rich people, poor people. You can find them if you look. And truthfully, we all have our own biases, and we like to hire people from our tribe, people that we feel comfortable with. And you know what? We really need to open our eyes for a lot of reasons. First, because it's fair, and second, because there's immense talent out there if you just go and look for it. And what DEI is saying, go out and look for it. You don't have to hire unqualified people. You just have to hire different people. I mean, how many movies do we have to see, right, before we realize that, hey, black women can work as engineers at NASA, or people who are completely paralyzed except for their left foot can be incredible artists, or, you know, a million other things. Women can be surgeons. Can you imagine that?
Right.
So that's kind of what I think of as DEI, right? And it's been around for 60 years. It's not new, but suddenly, I don't know, in the last 5 years, it became a shorthand for hiring unqualified black people.
And there you have it, which is what's riling up the natives. But the data shows that what is commonly believed is not true. Let's go.
Yeah.
To jobs that should go to white people. You know, so I wanted to kind of...
No, it really gets me. Do you really believe that they're going to take a bunch of jobs from white folks and give it to black folks? I mean, you actually believe that would happen in the United States?
Get to the bottom of that and see kind of what I thought, what other people thought. Okay, so here's a little quiz. Who do you think benefits most from DEI programs? They did a survey. The Pew Research people, they're pretty good. They did a survey about 5 months ago to get people's opinions. And if you said black people, most people agree with that. You know, a lot of people don't have opinions, which is fair. They don't know enough, and that's fair. But the one thing that got a majority of votes is black women benefit and black men benefit. Do white women benefit? A lot of people don't know. If you had asked me, I would have said, well, I'm not really sure, but probably somewhat.
Right.
And that's what most, 30% of people say yes. Almost as many say they are hurt by it. which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But almost nobody thinks that white men are benefited.
Right.
Like 14%. But a lot of people think that they're hurt by it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the general opinion. All right, so that's where we stand.
Because the big them niggers is taking stuff from us. If the nigger wasn't there, I'd get the job. That's what they're thinking.
Fortunately, the government actually kept statistics because this has been going on for 60 years. It's not like it happened yesterday. And you can look it up, except you can't because they took all that information off the web. And
Right,
it's
not anymore.
vanished. Yeah, you can't find it anymore. But when there were people who were looking and they did find out, it's a quiz. It's a quiz for everybody out there. Who do you think benefits the most from DEI programs? Time's up. Black people? No. White women.
Shocker. Which I already knew the answer to the question anyway. I'm just going through this just to show that what people believe is not necessarily based on fact.
Overwhelmingly. Now, there are a lot of reasons for that. And I'm not going to get into that now because that's a whole other discussion. But I will say that one of the reasons is that 50 years of affirmative action got a lot of women into the workplace where they were in a position to take advantage of a new push to say, hey, we need to look for qualified people. They were already in the workplace because of affirmative action. That was one of the reasons. But be that as it may. All right, so who's...
Yeah. White women were the largest benefactor of affirmative action. But that's not the common narrative that's being thrown around out in these streets. It's the blacks are coming. It's not happening. This is still the United States. It's not happening. Trust me.
the second biggest beneficiary of DEI programs? Time's up. Black people?
You would think so. I mean, most people in America apparently think so.
Yeah, most people think so. No. The second biggest beneficiary of DEI programs is white men. And when I read that, I was completely shocked. I mean,
And that's the demographic that's doing the much bitching. They're discriminating against us because I'm a white, straight male. But you're also the second greatest benefactor of the program that you're bitching about. Can't make this up, man.
aren't these the people who are complaining about DEI and saying that if it wasn't for them, these other people, that these qualified white guys would be in the workplace and they're losing their spots to DEI people? And isn't it terrible? How is it possible that white men are the second biggest beneficiaries? It just blew my mind.
Did you find out why that was?
Well, I mean, it's hard to kind of track down because I don't have access to the statistics anymore. And I would have done a much deeper dive into them. But the reality is that when you're talking about diversity, so many people think white and black.
Mm-hmm.
And that's diversity. But
Yeah, it's always the Negroes' fault. It's the Negroes.
You little nigglings!
talent is everywhere. It's in all kinds of overlooked communities. And
Yeah.
white men happen to belong to some of those communities. So if you look at who benefits, white women, white men, Hispanics, Asians, Native Americans, disabled people, and that's not just people in wheelchairs, it's neuroatypical people, people on the spectrum, people who, are dyslexic, have the Spilkus, ADHD, followed by veterans,
Mm-hmm.
LGBTQ and alphabet people like me, and at the very bottom, black people.
No way. You see? The perception is that the darkies is getting all the benefit and they're replacing us on our jobs. And I got passed over because some darkie got the job instead of me. No, it's not real. I've been arguing about this for years. You can't show any data that a bunch of white men are losing jobs because they have been replaced by black men. That's not happening. This is still the United States. America, damn it.
White men, of course, are not a uniform group
Right.
as much as we think so. They are vets. They are disabled. They are LGBTQ, whatever. They are poor. And in all of those categories of diverse talent benefit from DEI programs, and they're all majority white.
Right.
So, of course, white people are going to benefit more from DEI programs. And they're also going to be hurt the most by taking them away.
Yeah.
Just by population, white people are going to be the majority in LGBTQ and, disabled. But let's talk about poor people. Poor people are massively benefited by DEI programs. And most poor people are white. There are programs
Shocker.
that universities have that outreach, for example, to people in rural counties, because those kids would never be able to get into those schools. They don't have the money. They don't have, the background in education. Their high schools can't afford advanced placement and all these kind of things that universities like. These schools have financial aid packages, and they outreach to those kids, and they want them in their schools. Those kids might not even realize that. And that population is overwhelmingly white. And
So we're going to cut this off right here. If you want to watch the whole thing, I will link it in the description box down below. So there you have it. It's not real. There's no program in the United States that's not going to benefit whites the most. Will it hurt other whites? Yeah, because that's the majority of the population. But the bottom line is it benefits whites the most. Because you think that someone black is taking something from you. It's not real. That never happened, and it's not going to happen in the United States of America. It's not happening. Deal with it. Stop blaming people for your shortcomings. If you didn't get the job, maybe you suck. Except for in IT, which is another topic we're going to discuss, are Americans being discriminated against in the IT field? And I'm going to say yes. From my experience, it's definitely true. So, anyways, brothers, we're going to wrap this one up. Do your main man a favor. Smash that like button. It don't cost you nothing. Hit that subscribe button. Ring that notification bell. Share this bad boy out. And I'll see you brothers in the next video. Peace.